in Cuc Phuong National Park for the 42 kilometer start this morning here at 7 a.m. The 42 kilometer is also a points race together with the 100 kilometer that started last night, and the 42 will be very interesting because we have Hisashi Kitamura, and Karate Kid always makes any race interesting. He will be challenged by Jose Luis Alvarez, who is a newcomer on the ATM scene. He's based in Hong Kong, hails from Mexico, and he is a bit of a protege of the Gone Running Joint Dynamics team. That is also the team of Jeff Campbell and other big runners in Hong Kong. So it will be very interesting to see what Jose Luis can do against Hisashi. Jose Luis himself already stated that he is actually coming back out of a longer term injury, but he's on the comeback trail, and that's also why he's doing the 42k and not the 100 this weekend. So step by step, which is always the smart move. We also have Alexander Tille from Great Britain, based in Penang in Malaysia, in the start list. We also saw him already, he's here. He's the winner of V-Trail in Laos, the first race of this year's Asia Train Master season. And as we are preparing for the start, I will be walking around and see if I can catch any of the runners to have a quick chat still before they get going. Mark, I guess you just focus a bit on the runners at the start. I will try to go to the backside. We also see Chris De Voitse here from France. He's from the team Lecca, the official nutrition sponsor of ATM this year. He's also an outsider for the podium. Normally speaking, Kitamura will be the big favorite to win this. There's also a Vietnamese runner, Quang, not Quang Trang, but Nguyen Phuong Quang. And he has been tipped as an outsider as well because he's a newcomer on the scene, but he is better known as a mountain runner and not so much as a flattish trail runner. This race, 42 kilometer, only has 1,000 meters of elevation gain. I am now at the back of the group, about 350 runners, I believe, on the start list. Trying to catch a glimpse of Hisashi Kitamura. Alexander Tille and Hisashi are lined up together in the middle of the pack. It will be a bit hard to reach them, I think, at this stage. We already had an interview with Hisashi yesterday, which you can view on the Asia Train Master Facebook page. Hisashi chose for the 42 kilometer on purpose because he did a big race in Thailand, and then he did, of course, POTM against Milton Amat and won it. That was a big victory for him. After so many years of trying to beat Milton in his home turf in Sabah, he finally managed to do so. And after that, he also ran the marathon, the road marathon. So now Hisashi is taking it slightly easier for a few weeks in order not to burn out and run out of steam like he tends to do towards the end of the year. And it's the end of the year that ultimately decides the outcome of the Asia Train Master Championship. Hisashi, the vice champion in 2019 behind John Ellis. Last year on Mount Apo, not exactly his favorite terrain, he finished 5th. But he was the points leader of the season last year. Hisashi Kitamura, I think he won 3 or 4 races last year in the ATM series. We are very close to the start now. In the women's race, we expect a competition between Christine Mitchell, British but living in Vietnam. However, we have not found her here in the lead up to the start. She is supposed to get a GPS tracking device as well, but she is not carrying one, so that's for sure, because it's still in my pocket. And the other favorite for the women's race here is Vietnamese, also by the name of Nguyen like so many of the runners, of course. But 42 kilometer is the type of distance where we can always see a surprise. Maybe a road runner who is trying a bit of trail, especially this kind of trail, because the elevation gain is limited. On paper it says 1000, but if you look at the profile, it could actually be even less. That's also what some of the people are saying, that it's not 1000, it's less than 1000. So unfortunately we cannot do any more interviews with runners. So we're just waiting for the start. The weather is moist, foggy as usual here at this time of year in Cuc Phuong, close to Ninh Binh. We are 2.5 hours south of Hanoi City. But it's the temperatures are cool, and most people, of course, like that very much. It is moist though, so some of the trails are slippery, as we also discovered last night when we were trying to reach a few checkpoints, and ultimately we failed to do so because it just was impossible to ride on the motorbike with the equipment that we were carrying, and we even had a fall, a stumble, not a stumble, a real fall with the motorbike. So that was like a clear sign that there was no point in continuing to reach checkpoint 1. And because we missed checkpoint 1 and were stuck, we also could not make it to checkpoint 2. And then we had to abandon that plan. So that is why there has not been any multimedia update of the 100 kilometer race until this point. After the start, we will be going to the not the first checkpoint, but to checkpoint 2 and 3 of the 42 kilometers, while Mark will be heading towards CP8 and CP9 as the 100 kilometer runners are approaching CP8. Slowly, they are now in a no signal zone. So if you're following the race on the live tracking platform, live.asiatrailmaster.com/Cuc Phuong 2023, you will notice that the runners' dots have not moved already for a while. Nguyen Si Yu is in the lead of the race, and he's about 20 minutes ahead of Yoyong Sakaile and one of the Vietnamese runners, Viet Hung, I believe is his name. Is anyway one of the contenders for the podium for sure. Timo Kilbert was with them, but he sprained his ankle badly. He said he's okay, because he sent a message to us. He's okay, but he could not continue running, so he stopped the race at CP5 in the middle of the night. Pity, because Timo, like I said, was going really well. He was together with Yoyong Sakale and the Vietnamese runner Viet. But Nguyen Si Yu was then already in the lead, so not by a big margin, but it is increasing bit by bit. And as we are now very close to the start, it starts drizzling. So there is a bit of rainfall now. It starts drizzling as we're going to start the 42 kilometer race. The women's 100k, still briefly, Paulina Svoboda and Shindy Patricia have been running together basically until now, and until they also disappeared from the tracking platform. They also entered this no signal zone. That means that there's like an area deep in the jungle where there is no signal of any kind, that even our GPS trackers cannot pick up. GPS trackers that we have are much stronger than a mobile phone or something like that. It's Cuc Phuong, it's a thick jungle, it's very remote also. For us it's a comparable experience as we had last year in the desert of Alula in Saudi Arabia, where there was also a 20-25 minute area in the desert where there was zero signal whatsoever. But they will reappear, no worries about that. Here we have the start now of the 42 kilometers. Hisashi has made it to the front, we can see, and he's the first one out of the blocks, so to speak. He was aiming for 3 hours 15, he said yesterday. see if we can also see some other familiar faces. Alexander Tilly, yeah. Jose Luis Alvarez, I did not see him. I see him going to the start, so he's there for sure. But I think I missed him at the start. A few hundreds of runners on this distance. Earlier in the night at 4 a.m. there was also a 70-kilometer race category, which does not offer ATM Championship points, but as it is 70 kilometers, of course, will give all the finishers Grandmaster points. And there's runners, like there's 3 Malaysians here also. They are not particularly interested in the championship. They just want to collect the Grandmaster points. So they started on the 70k at 4 a.m. 3 hours ago. And that's it for this live stream of the 42-kilometer race start. We will be heading to CP2 and CP3, and Mark will be heading to CP8 and CP9 on the 100k, and we'll be back with the finish live as well. And here we are again. Thank you for viewing, and we'll be back in a few hours, maybe in 3 hours.